Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Tuesday, May 12, 2015. The question bar is open, folks. If ever you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Today on the markets, though, we had, first of all, the decline that we had at opening in the markets. I want to show it to you here, intraday-wise, what the markets did at opening. They went below their Friday's bottom here at opening on all indices. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, TSX, and all this was due to the rise in bond yields. 2 reasons could explain this this decline in the markets. First of all, when bond yields are surging, investors might say to themselves, you know what, might as well invest in the bond yields. It's kind of safer and I'm getting a higher yield instead of having to tolerate the volatility of the stock market. So that might be a factor that explains the movement. Another factor is that if we have an increase in bond yields, well, companies so far are actually liquidating some assets in the stock market and using that sale to actually pay back their debt because yields are rising, so the amount of interest that they have to pay on their debt are actually rising. So those could be 2 reasons why we have this decline here on the markets. Right now we're in a situation that's again tough because we're in a situation where if we take a look at the market situation here, this decline that was at opening, there were not a lot of short opportunities. Even the sectors that started the bearish cycle are mostly sectors where we mostly have stocks that are pursuing their decline rather than new short opportunities. Actually, if this decline continues strongly on the NASDAQ, now the target becomes 4,857. And we believe the best strategy to trade that decline, if it continues, is not to short new positions, but it's rather to open bearish ETF because we still have market that stays totally within this big neutral range. So if you're buying some bearish ETF on the NASDAQ, target now becomes 4,852. If we could stabilize at this support for 2-3 days and break down again, then that would be an opportunity to open new short positions. But right now, we didn't have enough of a big sideways formation to confirm several breakdown in the market. So it's mostly an opportunity to continue to either hold on to the bearish ETF you've opened on May 5th, which we have done so on MarketGurus.tv. This is why we continue to hold on to SPXU and HXD. but you could also open some positions today on those bearish ETF if ever intraday wise we have markets that make a new low. Right now it's not the case. Most of them stay neutral and testing their support. See, it's the same situation too as well on the Dow Jones. The target now becomes 17,700, and on the TSX now the target now becomes 14,750. The TSX remains the index with the most bearish potential. Let's say it breaks 15,000, then that will be, there's at least 200 points to be gained there on the TSX. So HXD, I think, definitely represents a great opportunity. If we take a look at HXD here, it does represent a great opportunity if ever the decline is confirmed on the TSX, but we need to have, you need to put your stop loss at 444 if you're buying that bearish ETF today. What sectors could bring the decline on the TSX? Well, first of all, there's the financial sector. If it goes below 250, so far our banks are resisting. You have Laurentian Bank that remains neutral within this big sideways formation. It's Canadian Western Bank so far is resisting. We also have the gold sector that is resisting too as well. It's going up slightly today because there's still some tensions between Greece and Europe. Greece has not made a payment yet, so has made a payment already, but there's still some tensions because they need to iron out the details for the next round of payments that needs to be done concerning Greece, and to finally allow Greece to have some breathing air to allow to adopt the measures to stimulate their economy and finally get their balance sheet in order. That's basically what they need to do. Now we have gold that is rising slightly, really slightly on that. However, there's still no breakout on the gold sector. It's only an opportunity to continue to put stocks on your watch list. I want to show you quickly on MarketGurus.tv. As I said, we always publish a list of the stocks that are about to be in a breakouts or breakdowns. And if we take a look at the gold sector here, there are two stocks that we have put on that list. I want to show that to you. There's Alacer Gold, higher than $3. That would be interesting. There's also Alamos Gold, higher than 881. Will be interesting for a breakout. But so far, there are no breakouts at all on the gold sector, and it's still a no-go. Questions in French. You have the 11:30 show where you can ask your question to Michelle, but an English show is dedicated to questions in English only. So I appreciate if you want to have your questions be answered, make sure that you write it in English, not in French, because I'm not going to answer it. So now let's take a look here at some news that we had today. We had some news on Ocean Rig that released their earnings, did well. magicJack as well. Rackspace, the company has been hit by the strength of the US dollar, but still Rackspace, they did beat estimates. Clean Energy Fuels, they also did worse than estimates for Clean Energy Fuels, but still the stock was able to resist. Encana, a Canadian company, did well. They made a profit of 1 cent. Estimates were estimating a loss of 10 cents, so pretty good for Encana, but the stock remains neutral. Chukozil, they beat estimates. Revenue surged by 274%, but the stock remains neutral. And Pan American Silver made a bigger loss. Revenues declined, but the stock is able to stay within this sideways formation. We also have a news that Verizon will acquire AOL for $4 billion. Apple is talking with Alibaba because they want to actually launch Apple Pay in China. Neuralink Genetics, they actually announced the results of a phase 3 of the clinical trial. And PAL, there's several buyers who want to acquire PAL, and they have made an auction. Actually, the final price could be around $10 billion. And we had Parex Resources that released their earnings. The stock did pretty well. George Weston as well, they did beat estimates. Revenue surge as well, but the stock remains totally neutral. Intertape Polymer, they did well. And Air Canada also. And Air Canada, the thing is, the lower fuel costs have helped this company. Now, this company is testing a resistance. It's not a buy right now. It's just neutral again for Air Canada. Right, it clearly got out of this downward corridor. You thought it could be a nice short opportunity for Air Canada, but it turned out to be a false signal there. And right now, Air Canada is rebounding towards its resistance. I think if it could stabilize at 12.75 and break 12.75, that would be interesting for Air Canada. But right now, I believe that with all this surge on the earnings, that it's more due for a pause. So watch for a new sideways formation on Air Canada, and the breakout of a sideways formation to confirm an entry point on that stock. Athabasca Oil Sands, they also did better than estimates. Aecon Group, as they made a bigger loss of 2 cents by 2 cents, but revenue surge. TMX Group, they did worse than estimates. Board Gaming, they actually had an extraordinary item that made them do a loss. If it was not for that extraordinary item, they will be slightly in line with estimates. So I think investors took that into account, and the stock is surging. I think it's a buy. However, there's still that resistance at 55. It's also moving on its earnings, though, for Board Gaming Group. So there's a risk that this breakout could be short-lived. So this is the risk that you have on a stock like Board Gaming Group. But at $51 as an exit point, I think it's still fair. But at 55, this is where I see a pause on a stock like that. And WSP Global earnings as well. And Avino Silver Mines, they also released their earnings. And AG Growth as well. And let's not forget for Endeavour Silver, they announced great results for their pre-feasibility economic study and a project in Mexico. And Athabasca Minerals, they will buy a railway facility in Alberta to actually store and distribute their oil sands. So those are the news that we have, folks. Really markets with almost no movement. I want to also take into account some stocks that stood out for swing trading, some breakouts, some breakdowns of the day. There have been Inside Energy Services that broke out, Parex that did pretty well on their earnings, Cobalt that broke out too as well in the energy sector. We have seen some slight upward momentum on the energy sector, but it's still really timid on the sector. And we have Urban Outfitters that is actually going down today. KB Home, it's a nice short for KB Home until 1336. That's the target. LL Brands, a short opportunity too as well. Except that we're making slightly a higher bottom on the stochastic. This is the thing I kind of don't like. So because of that, I'm kind of nervous for L Brands, and MTZ, except that it's losing 9.24%. I'm sure it's moving in the news though. And usually when a stock is going down so brutally, usually we tend to have a rebound that's kind of strong. So for those reasons, even if you're not shorting Mastech today, if tomorrow we have the stock that can pursue its decline, I think it will still represent a great short opportunity. But to short it right now, I'll be kind of nervous right now on a stock like Mastech. But those are actually our best swing trading opportunity on all indices.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. Now we have some interesting questions here from Dom. Dom, is SW a buy? We're Stornoway Diamond. It's on our watch list on marketgurus.tv that you can have access for free for 10 days to be recommended as a buy. It's not there yet because we're just waiting to see a clearer confirmation from the bid and ask. It's not clear because it's not at the same level. But yes, it will be a buy if the bid and ask can actually go higher. So we have actually set an alarm if ever it could go above 75 cents 38. That will be a buy on Stornoway Diamond. But so far, we have not put it as a buying signal yet on marketgurus.tv, but we do have a sideways formation, and we're just waiting for a clearer signal from the bid and ask. Now, Wendy has a question. Hi, Chris. You think today's energy stock rally will last a few days? Well, Wendy, I cannot say it will last a few days. I'm seeing some factors that I kind of don't like on the energy sector. That makes me believe that this rally might not last or not even begin on the energy sector. first of all, well, I love natural gas. That continues to go up. But for oil, look at oil here. We are testing the low of a upward corridor. We have been unable to break it. We're overbought. So that is a point where oil will be shorted. And actually, it's going down. And it could actually go down towards 2050 on oil. So we see, we tested that, and we're actually going down. So 2050 could be the target on USO. And the fact that we are having this situation on oil, for me, I'm kind of nervous in the energy sector. Because look, if the sector starts a bullish cycle, we're going to need a solid wave of buyers, Wendy, because there's all these congestions with all the moving average that's there, right? I've shown you the situation of oil. So, of course, we need a stronger oil to allow investors to be more confident and buy energy stocks. It's not what we have right now. I've shown you the chart where we are having a correction that could last until 2050. And also, even if the sector starts a bullish cycle higher than 231 points, well, the target is around 240. So there's 9 points to be gained on the energy sector. Is it worth it to trade some stocks knowing that the energy sector could reach 240? It could be. There could be some ETF, for instance, HEU, I think. That could be an ETF that could play out well from higher than $4 for 441. So you have a 10% almost that you can do. But right now, I think that the energy sector is going to take really a more convincing upward momentum to confirm that. I need the sector to go above 231. I'm not going to buy a lot of stocks today on the sector, even if there's some exceptions today, right? And 240 for me is the target. The thing I don't like is by looking at how oil is doing, I think that with this correction here that it might actually last, which will not help the energy sector. And also the fundamental situation has not changed on the energy sector, right? We still have a sector that's plagued by higher supply, higher demand, too much supply, not enough demand. So those are things that are weighing heavily down in investors' mood. And I think that right now for the energy sector, to buy some positions when the sector is neutral, I think it's kind of risky right now, as long as we do not have a confirmation of a clear bullish momentum. We don't even have a lot of breakouts in the energy sector. And most big cap stocks, well, not Husky, but TransCanada, Imperial Oil, Suncor are all putting pressure on the support. So if those big caps cannot surge, how would you like to believe in a breakout on the energy sector? So for those reasons, I think it's kind of premature to say that the energy sector rally could continue. And even if it continues, as I said, until 240, the best strategy, I think, is to go with an ETF, HEU on the TSX. But there's still 231 that needs to be breaking out, and the technical indicators are showing us that there's a big congestion there on the energy sector. So Eve, what other factors that push bond yields up and down? Well, it's market related, Eve. For instance, sometimes when bond yield goes up in the US, it's an expectation that the Fed is going to raise interest rates, so in fact, the bond yields go up. In Europe, you know, there might be some times where there's some fears concerning a Greek exit or etc. So yields go up, so it costs more for countries to borrow. So it's really markets driven. There's not a particular factor that can actually allow bond yields to go up and down. And also it's my economic, the books that I read usually related to inflation. And so far we know inflation is not that strong all over the world, right? And usually when inflation goes up, central banks tend to raise interest rate to calm down inflation. So there are market factors, and there's also an inflation numbers that might have an impact, but it's not black and white. Usually it's kind of a mix of a lot of things that actually makes yields go up or down. For today, for yesterday's yield hike that we had, we have found no reason that could have explained that so far, because yes, there's some tensions in Greece, but the rate hike started in the U.S. But in the U.S. yesterday, there was no major news that actually could explain why we had a rally among bond yields. Now, last questions here. I'm going to take one from this from Banque Nationale. Is Aecon Group a buy? Well, Aecon Group, look, it's moving on its earnings, first of all, so it's not a stock that we would recommend among our analyst short portfolio on marketgurus.tv. But if you're buying that stock, you will trend trade it, which means you will hold on to it as long as it maintains its upward trend. So your exit point now becomes at $13 below that support on the reversal of this upward trend. The risk I see with that is that there's still all that downward trend that is there that has not been reversed. I expect the stock could stop around $14, right? $14, $15 on Aecon Group. The good thing is that it's not yet overbought, right? But yeah, so $14.50 could be the target, but make sure that at $13.50, $13 you put your exit point. And also it's moving on its earnings, so there's a risk that this slight rebound here might be short-lived. So this is the risk that you have if you're buying Aecon Group today. But technically speaking, it's a buying signal, not a typical one on marketgurus.tv, but a buying signal in the sense that it pursues its trend, so you can trade that stock as long as it maintains its upward trend. As for the best day trade of the day, it's a stock in the energy sector, one of the most active sector today, even if it's not starting any bullish cycle. So it has been Parex Resources with 2 entry points. Now the next entry point in Parex Resources will be on the reversal of this downward trend, so higher than 1024. Parex Resources will be a buy, but it's also moving on its earnings, so this is why I think we have this profit-taking opportunity that happened on that stock. So only higher than 1024 that this stock is going to be a new go for Parex Resources. So that's it, folks. See you tomorrow at 12:30 on the Swing Trading Show. Markets are again tough. As I said, we have a slight intraday rebound, but there's still a risk that markets might go down. With bearish ETF, I think it's the safest alternative to trade that. If you're buying bearish ETF today, make sure you put your exit point below the support. The thing is that if you're buying them today, your stop loss will not be that great. And we're looking to see, can markets test their former support? If they do test their former support, this will allow you to make some money in the bearish ETF that you open today. In terms of the index that has the most bearish potential, it's the TSX. But we need the TSX to at least go below this point here, below 15,000 to reach 14,626. And this will actually be a great payoff on HXD, which is the bearish ETF on the TSX. So see you soon tomorrow, and I wish you all a good trading.